Hello and welcome to this video about how to photograph your artwork. What I have on my setup and what you will need are two tungsten lights, a decent camera on a tripod. I use a cable release as well. We'll get into that. Somewhere to put your artwork. I've got it on an easel and I used to have to do it on a mantelpiece against a wall, or you could, if there's some way of sticking your artwork onto a wall, then that's possibly the best thing because you need it on a flat plane. Right, the first thing is you need to make the room as dark as possible. This is a south facing window, it's sunny, so I've closed the curtains, it's as good as it will get, but that means that there shouldn't be too much fluctuation in the daylight against the tungsten lights. So for your two lights, you need them at a 45-degree angle from your piece of artwork. I've got this on a board because sometimes what I do is, if it's not on a block like this, I will glue tack it to the board and then I can change pieces of artwork. But you need your lights at the level of the painting. You need them at a 45-degree angle as far as possible. And you need them roughly the same distance away from the painting. So what I tend to do is, I'm not going to do it because the bulbs are really hot. I do this before you put the lights on. This is purely just to show you. So before you put the lights on, I hold my hands out and it's kind of an arm's length is where the bulb is going to be. So I do that for both of them. Now, while I'm standing here, which is obviously where the camera is going to be, I do feel, you kind of got to do it by eye, I do feel like that light is too far over that way. So I am going to bring it slightly this way. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get an even distribution of light on the painting so that one side's not more lit than the other. My lights are Radiate by Light. They were quite expensive, but I bought them for my photography business. You can get kind of small lights on eBay and Amazon and things, so they may work well. Just make sure that both of the lights are exactly the same and they've got the same wattage, etc. I'm glad I don't have to do this all the time. These lights are so hot. Camera equipment. Because I was a professional photographer, I do have a Nikon D700. This is actually the 24-70 lens, but I always, for photographing artwork, leave it on 50, which is like a standard lens if it was a fixed lens. So you don't want it too wide because it'll distort. You don't want it too narrow because, again, it may distort it and you will have to be further back. So I always use 50. As I said before, I use a cable release and the tripod. Always use it on a tripod if you haven't got a cable release. But the cable release is because the shutter speed, I'm going to set it for the aperture, and the shutter speed may be too long for you to not have camera shake. So you want to eliminate the camera shake by using the tripod and the cable release. Let's talk camera settings. I always have it on aperture priority and the tungsten white balance. My f-stop is going to be f16 because you want as much of it in focus as possible. So obviously when you're on the aperture, the shutter speed, which is this one here, 50-60, is going to fluctuate. But by putting it on aperture priority, it means that it will always be f16, which is what I want. The other thing is my ISO should not be 800. I have just realised I have taken a batch of paintings at the wrong aperture. It needs to be the lowest ISO that you can get it, and this one, it will go lower, but I tend to do it on 200. Because then the quality will be the best. You see there the shutter speed has gone down to 13, so that's really slow shutter speed. Once you've set your artwork up, your lights up, and you've got your camera settings correct, pop it on your tripod. We need to set the camera up with the painting in the viewfinder. So you've got the painting upright as much as possible like this. You need to get your camera parallel to it. So there's going to be no distortion of like perspective that way or that way. And I need as much of the artwork as big as possible in the frame. Here obviously I'm too low, so I need to come up a little bit. You can probably also see that my easel is not actually level like that, it's tilting that way, so I'm going to need to adjust the camera just to get it in the right plane. I also need to come back a bit. Remember, you're not changing the focal length, so it's still on 50. If you've got a telephoto lens and you think that you might, then you can put like a bit of sticky tape on it to stop you from changing, from zooming in or out. So I need to be a little bit further forwards. There. This is looking through the camera just to show you how large in the frame I get that. So obviously you can see the board on either side, that will be cropped. And sorry for the very, very shaky hand. And then the other thing that I use is a grey card. This is obviously a big kind of fold out one. You can get small ones. I've got a lens cloth which actually doubles up as a grey card because it is coloured grey. You can just get literally a kind of credit card size piece of card which is grey, which is specifically the grey card. But what this does is you take a photograph of it where the artwork is, and then you can use it in your software afterwards to do the white balance. It might be that this is too magenta, slightly too yellow, but it just gives you like an additional kind of colour management. So you literally put it in front of there and take your picture. And then unless you're changing the lights, you don't need to do that again. Then just check your artwork. My cable release has, you half press it and it focuses, and you've got your little focus in there. Just check that it's focused and take your picture. And I tend to do 2 shots of each and then just edit it out. And then if you have a few paintings to photograph, obviously you just take that one off, put your next one on, you're all set up. Just need to maybe adjust the camera so that it is the largest in the frame and take your photo, and that's it. Once you've photographed all of your artwork, turn your lights off as soon as possible because tungsten ones do tend to get really hot. And remember, don't touch them for quite a while because, as I say, they are really hot. Unplug them before you take the bulbs out. Make sure the bulbs are cool before you take them off. I think that's all the safety announcements. I don't want anyone with burnt fingers. I hope you found that video with the tips about how to photograph your artwork useful. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. You can buy me a coffee on ko-fi.com, link will be in the description. Never mind a coffee, I'm going to go and get a glass of water because it is absolutely boiling under these lights. Thanks for watching, bye.